Hey folks, it's me again. Hope you're staying busy. Feels so much better to be able to start the car like a normal person and not have to jump it with a portable battery every damn time. I was never expecting the solution to this problem to be so simple because nothing in my life is ever simple. So when I found out that all I needed was a new battery, it wasn't the alternator. Apparently it was just the battery went bad because the prongs, the positive and negative prongs, weren't tight properly, so it wasn't getting current and charging it, so it was basically screwing the battery. So I had to get a new battery, which was nothing compared to having to get a whole new alternator. So far it's been almost a week since I put the battery in and it's still been fine. So right as of now, I'm going with, yeah, the battery was bad, which is a lot simpler. I'm just surprised that whenever there's something happening and there's a simple fix and it actually works, I'm just really surprised whenever something is simple like that, because everything is such a pain in the ass all the time. It's just annoying how everything is complicated and nothing ever works. So the rare occasions when something actually works and it's not a pain in the ass, I'm just like, wow, I was not expecting that. The only major thing I have to do now is change the transmission oil. I asked my pain in the ass roommate where his uncle's shop is, and of course, like 3 hours later, he hasn't said anything, just assuming he's ignoring me as usual. Because he's already off his job right now, and he's probably going to be home any minute, but still hasn't said anything, because that's just the way he is, as usual. He's the kind of person to spite his nose to cut off his face. He will cut off his face to spite his nose. He will spite his nose and cut off his face. I don't normally say that saying, so I don't even know how I'm saying it, but you get the point. He's the most spiteful person ever. Like, he'll literally tell you to do something, and then you'll ask him, like, okay, how do you do this? And then he'll just ignore you. That's the kind of person he is. He cuts off his nose to spite his face. Going on another busy drive. Getting to know the city. Even though there's not really much to know, it's kind of a medium-sized city, and there's only one size city here. It's not like back in the desert where there was like over a dozen different cities and they were all connected to each other, so it felt like one gigantic, endless city that would take like 2 hours to drive from one side to the other because there are so many cities clumped together. This is just one medium-sized city, and that's it. So I can drive from one end of the city to the other in like 25 minutes. And then after that, it's just nothing but road and grass and dirt. So it's not really that big of a change to me, other than it's not crazy hot. It's a little bit humid. But it's not really that big of a difference compared to what I was used to before, because I don't really drive all over the place. I usually stick to the neighborhood, or I drive around town. I don't really go very far, so I never go to the outskirts of the city. So I'm always in the middle of the city or like on the outskirts of the city. I never really tell. So I can't tell if there's a million other cities connected to this city or if this is just one city out in the middle of nowhere. But that's what this situation is. This is one medium-sized city that's kind of out in the middle of nowhere. But you can't really tell that this is just one city that's out in the middle of nowhere. Because I never go anywhere. I just go to work or I'll go to the store. It's no different here than it was back in the desert. I have no life. I don't really do anything. Like, I didn't move here in hopes to like have fun or to meet like a ton of awesome people. It's more affordable and I have no real reason to stay in the desert. So I moved here because basically I hit the fuck it point. I didn't care anymore. I really had no reason to stay there, so it's like, why would I stay there? So yeah, I've started a new life here. On basically Central America, the Midwest. I'm just gonna say Central America. I'm practically in the very center of America. I used to be on the far west coast, like right next to California. Like I could drive to California if I wanted to back in the desert. Like some parts of the desert looked like California. I mean, California is essentially a desert. The only reason why it's not hot there is because it's next to the ocean. So you're always getting that ocean breeze. So it usually never gets much hotter than like 70 or 80 degrees over there. And the winters are amazing. It's like 40 to 60 degrees during the winters. I fucking hate this thing. I want my old tripod back. Just spending all this frustration trying to get this piece of shit to like stop moving. I should be focusing on going to wherever I'm going to instead. Never had to deal with that with my old tripod because I could just mount it up to the damn rearview mirror. This thing is just obnoxious because it has flexible legs, but they never stay where you bend them. Every time I try to bend the legs, it just bends back it just doesn't fucking stay. It's retarded. It's the shittiest fucking thing ever. Like, this thing is just a basic bitch little camera holder that you're supposed to use just to keep the camera upright. That's really it. But it's a flexible tripod. I'm used to my other Gorilla tripod where I can flex the legs into any position I wanted and they would stay there. With these, I try to flex the legs into a certain position and they just bend backwards. It never fucking stays. It's annoying. So with that being said, I can't just hang this on the rear view mirror because I can wrap the legs around the mirror and then the legs are just gonna bend back to where they were and it's gonna fall off. But this is the only stupid thing I have, so whatever. Yeah, part of the desert looked kind of like California because they're so close to each other. I could drive to California in like a few hours if I really wanted to. But it was just getting too pricey. It's too hot. I hate the heat. It's only extremely hot during the summer, June, July, and August. Those 3 months in the desert are a living fucking hell. I'll never miss that. I like the desert. Like, don't get me wrong, I like the desert. I've been there most of my life. But I just have no real reason to stay there. It's like when I was a little kid, I had a lot more friends, and as I got older, everyone moved away. I can see why they moved away, because the desert's too hot all the time. Or I just stopped talking to them, and I have no family there. I had like maybe 1 or 2 friends there. It just wasn't worth it to stay. But it's like, is there a chance Is there a chance that I would ever go back to the desert? Maybe. Anything's possible. There's always a chance I might go back. But I have no reason to. Like, right as of now, I have absolutely no reason to really even visit the desert. Like, I might visit it just for nostalgia reasons. I might visit the desert, and I'll be sure to make stupid videos. But right now, I have no reason to go back to the desert, not even to visit. So I have no intention of even visiting anytime soon. Like, if I do visit the desert, it probably won't be until like the end of the year at the earliest. But I finally got my life going here. Got a job. I got everything going, even though it took longer than I was hoping, and it was really annoying. Like, it was a lot more annoying than I thought it would be. That's not surprising. But the whole point is, I got pretty much my life going here. So I'm gonna be here for a good amount of time. I don't know if I'm gonna be here permanently. I doubt it. But I'm gonna be here for a good amount of time, to say the least. Like, how long exactly, I have no idea. I'd take it day by day. I guess it ultimately depends on how much of a bitch my roommate's gonna be every day. Because I can only take so much before I'm just gonna say, fuck it, I'm just gonna live in the van. Like, when I moved here, like, all I brought with me was what I had in the van. So if I left, I would just I don't have a whole lot of stuff. I didn't bring any furniture. Whatever I could fit in my van, I brought with me. And I still have my Tuft & Needle foam mattress back here, which is the most comfortable bed I've had since my king pillow top that I had when I was 14. This is gonna be the second most comfortable mattress I've had. So, like, if I had to, I would just throw everything back in the van and go sleep in the van until I figure out where to go. So it's not like I'd have to worry about sleeping on the street. I'd sleep in the van. That's the whole reason why I got the van, is to haul big stuff in it and to go camping and to sleep in it if I had to, if I was homeless for whatever reason. I wanted to keep this thing just to sleep in it for like an emergency reason. I just wasn't expecting to get a lemon car that had a crappy garbage transmission. The only reason I'm not pissed off about it is because I didn't really spend much on this car to begin with. I paid cash, and like, this thing was not shit. This car isn't worth shit. So that's why I don't really care that I bought a lemon. And there's no way in hell I'm getting a new transmission. No way. No way I'm getting a new transmission. I paid like a couple thousand for this car. It's gonna cost almost a couple thousand to get a new transmission put in here. It's not even worth it. It's not worth it, folks. So my general plan with this car is to basically just drive it into the ground. I'm gonna keep just getting as many miles out of it as I can. Just get my money's worth. I mean, at this point, I've had this van for like a year or two now, even though I haven't used it much. Well, now I'm starting to use it like crazy. So we'll see how much this van can take before the transmission explodes. I thought for sure, since I drove all the way to Central America from the West Coast, I thought for sure that the transmission was gonna blow up by the time I barely made it like a quarter of the way. But it didn't. It was a pain in the ass, sure, because it was a 16-hour drive, but it ended up taking me like 3 days. I thought it was gonna take a week. Like, I packed enough food and water to last about a week to get here, but I ended up getting here in like 3 days, which was, I was way ahead of schedule. Because I was just trying to prepare in advance in case this thing was gonna just be a total piece of shit. So this thing drove halfway across the country and it still works just as well as it did before I left. I'm still driving all over, going to work every day, going to the store, going to appointments, going to meetings, going to all this shit. So even though this van has a shitload of problems, windows don't work, had to get a new battery. I thought it was the alternator, but I guess it was just the battery. Transmission is the worst part because its transmission is horrible. Need a new transmission for sure. But surprisingly, it still runs. This thing still runs. And even after I change the transmission fluid, I'm predicting like another 40,000 miles. I've already put like a couple hundred miles on it, so 39,000 miles. I'm predicting around 39,000 more miles until this transmission completely explodes, stops working completely. That's my prediction. And that's assuming that I get new transmission oil, because right now, last time I checked it, it was like almost sludge. It was really dark and murky and gross looking. I am due for a transmission oil change. I already changed the motor oil. Now I need transmission oil. I was supposedly gonna get a good deal. I was gonna bring my own transmission oil, and my roommate's uncle was gonna do it at their shop for like $50. And I got the oil. I was ready to go today. I was like, hey, where's the address to your uncle's shop? Because I was gonna change the transmission oil today. And of course, no response as usual. Because he's fucking autistic. Stupid faggot. It's like talking to an infant. It's like a little infant that's on a constant, like just, it's like, he acts like a child who's like constantly throwing a fit. Like, no, I'm not gonna talk to you. No, fuck you. That's basically how he is for no fucking reason. That's just part of his personality. So fucking annoying. Like, I gotta talk to his damn girlfriend half the time when I got questions about shit. Because at least with her, she's normal. Like, I'll get a fucking answer out of her. It's ridiculous. Anyway. I'll get back to you later. Stay tuned for more videos. See ya. Stay busy.